Alright, so yeah, we'll be live sometime. Good evening, all. I, Priyanka, back again with National Discussion 2.0, presented by Root Companion and powered by SteamYard. Like always, we are going to be shedding light on some of the most important concerns for today's society. Today, we are going to be talking about how Article 377 has changed our lives. So, does this topic put you in any bit of discomfort? Well, don't be. We all are here to understand each other's mind in order to create a better world. With this note, I'll be welcoming you all to our today's participants. We have Ishita, Swapnita, and Noop. So before going to them, let me just remind you all about the voting process. As we all know, we are having a voting process where we put the comments for our favorite participants in the comment box while the session is live. And you can put the comments still tomorrow 4 p.m. for the same event. So don't miss out this chance to vote for your favorite participants. Moving on, I'll be going to individual participants. Let's hear some of their live stories from them, and then we can start the discussion. All right. So moving on to Swapnita. Swapnita, hi. Can you please introduce yourself a bit?
Hello, ma'am. I'm Swapnita, studying in Kendriya Vidyalaya ALC Charbatiya. I'm so glad that I got this opportunity to speak here. Well, my hobbies are writing poems, stories, and dancing. And thank you.
Thank you, Swapnita. Yeah, it's too good to have you here. So next we are having Nutan. Nutan, if you could unmute yourself and introduce yourself a bit.
Hello ma'am, I am Nutan Mayer from Bargarh, Odisha, and I'm so glad that I found an opportunity to speak something about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Nutan. It's our pleasure to have you here. Last but not the least, we have Ishita. Ishita, let's hear from you a
Hello,
bit as well.
hello, ma'am. My name is Ishita, and class 12, from Victoria Girls Senior Secondary School. My hobbies are to play badminton and watching TV, and my aim is become a CA. Thank you.
Wow, it's good to hear that you already set up your goals. Yeah. So without any further ado, let's get started with our discussion. Probably I can choose some of you to take the lead. Should I? Or does anyone wish to go first? All right. So let me pick up one of you. Okay. So yeah, probably we can start with Newton. Newton, would you mind taking the lead?
Yes ma'am.
Sure. Yes, Newton, maybe you can start with your speech.
Good evening everybody. I Nutan Mayer from Bargarh, Odisha is going to say something about the topic how Article 377 changed our life. Article 377 of Indian Penal Code is an article of Indian Penal Code introduced in 1861 during the British rule in India. It was molded and moderned by Perjury Act of 1533. It makes sexual activity against the order of nature illegal. On 6 September 2018, the Supreme Court of India ruled that the application of Section 377 of Constitutional homosexual sex between adults was unconstitutional, indefensible, and irrational. After the change, it reached out to the individual across the community, to understand the way in which they change their legal status to understand the way in which they mentally and physically and professionally they grown up. For example, we have read an article of a Mumbai boy who was a 25-year-old. 25-year-old Arnav Nandi. He was a tech professional came out as a gay in a Facebook post. After it was made, Arnab was seated between his parents who were holding a poster and saying, my son is not a criminal right now." I think things have changed in time last year, in the sense that people are openly accepting the queer community. Many people from the community have came to their homes, their workplace, and they can live proudly. Some felt better equipped to the daily microaggression they faced at the school, colleges, and work. For others, the novelty of a post 377 world quickly wore up as the social structure inflected by caste, class, and religion cut into their hopes of and a light of dignity and equality. But broadly, when we talk about when we're talking about social acceptance, right and privileges the community has, I don't see much change. Now also many doctors still consider the homosexuality as a disease. We need more conversation and discussion around the queer community and their privileges and rights. One of the things that the Section 377 judgment has done, unfortunately, that it has fragmented the queer community movement. Discrimination is still there, but there is a social acceptance of the sexual harassment and the gender identity of the queer community orientation may be different, but the Constitution protects it. It is not only the duty of the government of India, but also the people and the public also take care of it. And there should not be any news articles that may hurt anyone. We should also take care that no community, no people should be hurt by any changes or rules. Thank you and have a nice day.
Well, thank you, Nathan. It was a really nice speech. Thank you so much for that. Probably, does anyone have any questions, or should we take the question answer session at last? You guys can decide on that.
Ma'am, we can take it at last.
All right.
After
So with
hearing
this note, since you've already, yeah. All right. I hope that you won't be forgetting whatever the other participants are talking. But yeah, with this note, since you've already unmuted yourself, please be unmute and start with your speech.
Okay, ma'am. Well, thank you for giving me this opportunity. So today's topic is how Article 377 changed lives. So before getting into the topic, how it changed lives, we must know what is Article 377 or Section 377. Yeah. So Section 377 of Indian Penal Code is basically an act that criminalizes homosexuality, and it was introduced in the year 1861 under the British rule of India. It referred to unnatural offenses and says whoever voluntarily has carnal intercourse against the order of nature with any man, woman, or animal shall be punished with imprisonment for life. Now the question arises, what is the problem with Section 377? Yeah, why people were so opposing in nature regarding Section 377? Well, reasons offered for this opposition to sexual relations between people of same age, same sex were so many. Like some called it as social vice, some called it as the reason behind the spread of HIV and AIDS, some even called homosexuality as an offense against religion and culture. But you know, the worst part of Section 377 is that it became the constitutional way of discriminating and humiliating a group of specific citizens, that is lesbians, gays, bisexuals, queers, and transgenders. Yes, the LGBT community. According to me, discriminating people on the basis of their gender identity is something very inhuman and is something very cruel. Let me remind you the preamble of our country, the place of our pride. It clearly declares that the right to equality, liberty, and fraternity to all its citizens under the context we, the people of India. Then how can we just think of treating LGBT community as criminals? Isn't it a gross injustice towards their life? Well, As we all know, sun sets and time has to change. Similarly, on 6th September 2018, Supreme Court of India overthrew this section 377 and accepted lesbians, gays, transgenders, queers, the LGBT community as normal Indian citizens. Since it was a struggle of a lot of people and a lot of people fought for this, so a small remarkable change must have a lot of impact in several people's life. Now let me put forward some very basic and very practical points about how it changed lives. Firstly, section 377 or article 377 violated article 14, that is right to equality, violated article 15, that is prohibition to discrimination, and violated article 21, that is right to privacy. It also violated one's individuality and one's dignity, which is completely unconstitutional and is very, very unjust. Earlier, LGBT communities members were not able to express their sexuality, their sexual orientation in public. A fear always remained in their heart about what society will say. But after Section 377 being overthrown, people are now becoming more and more confident and strong enough to share their stories, their experiences, and problems with others. Even the society also started giving them equal opportunities and equal rights in every sphere. They are now accepted, though gradually, but yes, they are accepted by everyone here. Let me tell you a small story. One of my friend also was transgender, and when this article was overthrown, he was so overwhelmed and so happy that I can't even tell in words. Yeah, so you can just imagine the level of happiness and level of satisfaction he must have experienced on that day, after so much struggle and so much after so much he fought for this this article 377. In fact, I must say that 6th September 2018 is the real Independence Day for them. Secondly, gays, lesbians, bisexuals, transgenders, as we all know, they are humiliated and discriminated everywhere. They are harassed from a very small age. They are treated like criminals. Their identity is questioned again and again. Their identity has been made a joke. People don't even think about their emotions and their feelings. They even feel unsafe to go police stations and hospitals and etc. So but after section 377 being overthrown, this harassment, this blackmailing, misbehavior has reduced to a great extent, and people are now happy being themselves. People have become more sensitized now, and they are aware of the problems that LGBTs face. People now understand that yes, sexual orientation is not something that we have any control over. It's completely natural. Now coming to my third point, it's as we all know that continuous humiliation and continuous humiliation and continuous misbehaving, continuous harassment can lead anyone to a severe mental stress, and this was one of the major reasons of depression and suicide rates in our country. Let me tell you, earlier 40% of LGBTs were sentenced to such depression and suicide rates, but since section 377 has been overthrown, now the depression rate and suicide rates has been reduced to a great extent. It's almost reduced to less than 15 or 20%, and that's an incredible change and a remarkable change, I must say. Now coming to fourth point, we have seen that LGBT community members were not given such equal opportunities earlier. They were rejected in several jobs and in several workplaces, politics, etc., and in many fields. But now, after this section 377 being overthrown, they are they are outshining in every spheres. They are emerging successfully with utmost dignity and utmost respect in every sphere, every field. For example, you must have heard about Duti Chand. Yes, she is the first lesbian athlete to do so, and you must have also heard about the Apsara Nandi. She was the Congress appointed her. She was a trans woman, and the Congress appointed her as National General Secretary of All India Mahila Congress. So it's really have a lot of positive impacts in our society. My fifth and the most important point is that earlier LGBT communities were could not express themselves, and even other people were not talking about this issue so much. They were just avoiding and ignoring such topics. Even I have seen so much parents, even my parents, that they are not comfortable in talking about these topics with their children. They are avoiding in each and every case. But after this may be due to lack of sex education or what, but they are avoiding. But after Section 377 being overthrown, most of the people think it's natural and we should feel free to talk about this. And you must have heard about several movies like Ek Ladki Ko Dekha To Kaisa Laga and Shubh Mangal Zyada Savdhan. Such movies also encourage people about talking about such topics and discussing on this topic, because LGBTs also need respect, right? And that's why, since people are becoming broad-minded and free-minded, that's why I think Roots Companion also have chosen such a beautiful topic to be discussed on. Yeah. So well, after all, changing laws and legislations does not imply that society has changed completely. But yes, it's definitely the start, and it kindles the flames of changes. Law is just a backbone of society, and it is what people turn to for support when everything else fails and when something goes wrong with them. People will take time to think, to understand, and to grow up. The mindset that has been developed from a thousand of years cannot be just changed in just one law. Yeah. So lastly, I would just want to conclude that many individuals in the LGBTQ community are still afraid to talk about their sexual orientation. They are still less confident about their sexuality. So I think that it's completely natural and it's completely okay if you don't fit between the two boxes of male and female. It's a natural process, and the way God created us is the ultimate way we live in this society. Yeah. So trans people and other members of LGBT community are worthy of so much love, so much respect, and so much dignity, because love is universal and love is genderless. Thank you so much.
Wow, amazingly said, Swapnita. Like, love is genderless and love is unique. Yeah, of course. But it's like most of our people in the society are kind of blindfolded when it comes about love. They only kind of try to mainstream it. But yeah, it's a good sign that some of the people are coming out of the box and thinking the otherwise and trying to bring a good shape in the society. It's wonderful. So yeah, let us go to the last but not the least participant, Ishita. Ishita, will you please unmute yourself? Yeah.
Five judges of the Supreme Court down the Act 377 in Indian Penal Code, and the Supreme Court on 6 September 2018 down the Act 377 of the Indian Court Marriage. At that Indian Supreme Court decided to Supreme Court decided a homosexual behavior in a first step towards the equal right, and the people who marriage in discrimination in a religion to discrimination to Hindu and Muslim and Sikh and Isai, and it has opened the door of the community to case the right and the family and right to marriage, and the judges will be able to do some issues for related to myself, and same sexual marriage is a very good, but another marriage which we is a two relation in Punjabi and Hindu. This is a very discriminate in a society. The various ways is, first is right to health under the Act 21, the right to life in meaningless and unless the community to buy the right to health. And second is management in trans agent personal bill. The under the section 377, only the way to strong the right of the transaction people bills 2014. The bill will be great and right to transfer the community. And for a third one is right to publish. The media is reporting say that the court update that the personal right to central to human discrimination. They are the value of the right the people in Act 21 of the Constitution. And then the fifth one is strongly maintain the behavior in girls and boys. They are not a similar. This is the same in the society, and you do not discriminate the both of them. She is a good and she is a bad person, and that's why we can. That's why the Article 377 changed the life, and it is very different to tell that the right is the wrong of this history, but we can say the future changed the life, but it can be say the source of the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ishita. Yeah, it was again wonderful to hear from you, your views. Yeah, so since we have done with the discussions, maybe we can directly proceed with the question answer sessions as uh, the other participants have already agreed upon. So probably we can start with Swapnita since she was the first person to agree with it, if I'm not wrong. So Swapnita,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, I would like to you
Yes,
to
ma'am.
ask some questions. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So my question is for Nutan Meher. I want to ask her that if uh, if you have a member of your family as LGBT, belonging to LGBT community, or further if further if you get a friend that is belongs to LGBT community, then how you are going to deal with it? I mean, how you will accept her or you will not accept her? I want to hear your views regarding this.
If anyone is from LGBT community in my family, I will treat him or her as other. I treat other of my family because they have also the same right as other. It is they have don't it was not their mistake that they have been they have been created like that. They just it was God created, and they should they also need same respect, love, accept, and other things. As thank you.
Thank you, Newton, for answering the questions. Swapnita, do you have any questions for Ishita?
Uh, well,
Okay, meanwhile, you take some time to think about the
okay,
questions.
so
Yeah, you ready with the question?
yes, ma'am.
Sure, proceed.
Okay, so I want to ask Ishita if how will you explain your parents regarding sex education, or how will you even your in future how will you teach your children regarding sex education, which is going to be the basis of your life? Yeah, reading physics, chemistry, and all fine, but sex education is going to the basis of your life. So how will you teach your children, or how will you tell your parents to talk about on this topic?
Ishita, have you heard the question? completely, or do you want us to repeat again? Ishita, can you hear us? All right,
Ma'am,
probably
your
we're having.
voice is not clear.
Okay, is it better now? Ishita, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so did you go through the question which is what Sapnita asked you? Did you heard it properly, or do you want us to repeat it?
Ma'am, yes, repeat this question again.
Sapnita, would you mind repeating the question again?
Yes, ma'am, sure. Okay, so I was asking you that if in future, how will you teach your children about sex education, or how will you tell your parents about talking to you regarding this topic? Because you know this is going to be the basis of your life. Physics, chemistry, and all is okay, but you know this is the universal truth, and this is going to be the basis of your life. So how will you teach your children, or how will you tell your parents to talk on this topic?
I'm say that I'm say to my parents that both boys and girls are not different to all of them. That's why we can tell to my parents that both are not similar to each other. But so many parents are very so many so many
Okay, Ishita.
so many parents give to child that both girls and boys are very difficult to each other, but my parents tell that that both are not similar but both are same, but the gender is different. That's why we can say to my parents that all
All right, maybe we have got the idea what Ishita is exactly trying to say, right? Swapnita, in a simpler word, she was just trying to hit the point that she will try to make the balance proper between the normal child or a special child, special in gender orientations. And she would also try to keep the things simple, try to have the normal behaviors like how we have with our boys or girls. So maybe that was the main idea which she tried to say. So yeah, with
Yes,
this
ma'am.
maybe we can go to Nutan. Nutan, you have any questions for Swapnita or Ishita?
I have question for Sapnita.
Sure.
That in 6 September 2018, uh, the article was removed. But is this it was followed by every people of the country? Is the LGBT group is getting the same benefits and same benefits, respect, privileges, etc.
Well, on 6th September 2018, Supreme Court of India passed this overthrew this Section 377. Mm, it's completely natural that we all know that if a law is changed or a law is passed, its effect or its impact cannot be seen in just one day or some months or some year. It takes time. People need to think, people need time to grow up, and people need time to understand why this is happening. And you know, as I have said, the mindset that has been developed over thousands of years cannot be just changed in just one law. So people need time, and unfortunately, I have to say that some old age people, they just don't want to change. They want to be just like they are. So we the youth have this capacity. We the youth have this power to change the future generations. So it take time to change, and so yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but Swapnita, since you were talking about old age people not eager or willing to understand, I would like to add some comments here, if you don't mind.
Yes, ma'am.
What I believe from my end is it's not about this topic, and if you try to calculate or measure the gap differences between our generation and the old ages, like our grandparents generation, it's way different. Our thought process are way different than what they used to think at our age, because of the society and the environment which they had raised themselves up to. So when you're having a thought or belief over
Yes,
the years, and you have spent most of your lives, and you have come to the end of your life, spending most of the time with a single thought, it becomes next to impossible to change it at the last, or during the last phase in your life, because you have entirely spent it almost 90% of your life leaving that thought, right? And now all of a sudden you cannot expect someone to come and grasp it unless he or she is been set to a proper environment to understand it, like how we are having things in our society. We as a youngsters are having it almost entirely opposite process than our parents or even our grandparents. But it's just that maybe one third of the entire generation or entire population, to be precise, who thinks in this way. But what about the rest of the people, right? They also include in the same environment. So unless and until the environment itself is getting changed, unless they meet people who
yes,
think
ma'am.
in that way, but still they are of, they're also old, they're of their age, but still they have a thought process or the wish to change their thoughts at this point, then only it will be beneficial and understandable for them to proceed with it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
all
Ma'am,
right.
awareness is
Yeah.
one of the important things.
Of course, of course. So whatever the topics that we have been discussing all this while in National Discussion 2.0, everything is hitting some of the other concerns in our today's society, and we try to understand your point of view because you are the upcoming generation and will be taking up the society in your own little shoulders and trying to do progress in that. So we need to understand, or we need to spread the awareness. We need to learn from the others as well as make them learn from ourselves. So it has to be a mutual
Yeah.
experience and experiential learning, it is said as it. So yeah, with this note, maybe we have come to the end of the discussion. But yes, I would like to hear from you guys about your experiences for today's discussion. Probably I will start with Swapnita.
Yes, ma'am. So actually, I'm so grateful to be a part of this show because I didn't know what this right companion is. I didn't know earlier what was that. I got a Facebook notification that such events are going to be conducted. Then I immediately enrolled myself here, and from that day to this day, I'm so happy that I got this opportunity to speak. In this corona pandemic, it's really important to engage yourself in something. So I'm really very grateful to be a part of this show. Thank you.
Thank you, Swapnita. Yeah, we actually love participants like you to be present on the platform and share experience and thoughts. And because it's kind of like I'm also learning from you at the same time while you're learning from the others. So it's an amazing experience for me as well. So thank you so much for letting me having this experience with you guys. Yeah. So moving on to Nutan. Nutan, would you like to share your experience?
I'm so thankful to your group that I got this opportunity. Actually, I got this link from of my brother and I was thank that I got a nice topic and in this corona and I thank the national discussion that conducting such online discussion is very important for the students of our generation to be get engaged, and thank you all.
Thank you, Newton. Yeah, you have well said. Yes, of course. And that's why we're here to provide you an opportunity to share your thoughts to the others, right? Sitting at a one corner of the country and spreading your thoughts to across the world or maybe across the countries, and it seems to be an amazing experience. I can feel it because I'm also being part of this. So thank you, Newton, for coming here and sharing your views. Yes, last but not the least, we will go to Ishita. Ishita?
Thank you, ma'am, to give this opportunity to me, and I'm very thank to you that giving this such kind of topics is very interesting, and see the India what we give and what starting in, and then all. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yes, thank you so much for that. Yeah. All right. So with this, we have come to the end of this discussion. Thank you so much, girls, for sharing your time as well as views with us. It's an amazing event. Looking forward to have you all again here, and all the very best for your future endeavors. Yeah. Thank you. Take care.